Now, before today's conversation on oil theft, Lydia Sampson gives us insight into happenings in the oil creeks.
Like a thorn in the flesh, crude oil bunkering and theft had continued to make the oil and gas sector bleed in Nigeria. From a little hemorrhage, it grew to become life-threatening. Determined to revive and resuscitate the sector responsible for a large chunk of the nation's economy and foreign exchange earning, the NNPC Limited commenced a life-changing collaboration with the communities and key security operatives, and now the narrative is changing for good. The manifestation of the success story all began when Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, revealed that the company has uncovered an illegal 4-kilometer pipeline from Forcados in Delta State to the sea and a loading port that has operated there in the last 9 years. Mele Kyari didn't stop at the revelation when he appeared before a joint Senate committee on upstream, downstream and gas. He was part of a high-powered delegation that defied the rains to visit the site of a bridge, no doubt contributing to the over 22 years of crude oil theft in Nigeria.
The technology already been applied. We still now have visibility around many of the marine activities that are going on. We see visibility around most of our assets, and we're improving on this. Obviously, technology is part of this intervention.
There will be a thorough investigation, and everyone who is involved certainly will be brought to justice, and the law will take its course. Then, of course, right here at the terminal, the fact that it's been shut down for quite a while means that a lot of losses have come to the country. And so measures that have been taken now to restore, export will be heightened.
They all lamented the unprecedented rate it has assumed in recent times. Kerry revealed that 3 operational facilities of Forcados, Bonny and Brass Oil terminals have all been shut down as a result of the high rates of crude oil theft, leading to the loss of about 600,000 barrels per day. The joint operations and partnership with communities is already yielding immediate impact.
One of the contractors, Tantita Security Service, is the one that makes this apprehension, because the whole architecture is anchored around detection, deterrence, response, and recovery. I think there's no doubt that we have made significant success in terms of detection, in terms of deterrence, and in terms of response. What is now left is for Nigerians to start witnessing the recovery journey. And I think before the end of the month, you will see the benefit of all the architecture that has been put in place. We have anticipated that this architecture will start yielding results in 90 days, but what we are seeing is that we will start seeing in about 60 days.
With the community spearheading securing the waterways and the critical operations of crude oil, the thieves, they say, must realize they can no longer be at ease.
It's among the list of vessels being monitored constantly, and it's been evading authorities for quite a while now, and its route is very funny. It's been frequenting the Niger Delta and at the same time carrying crude illegally to Ghana, precisely Tema.
As the community leaders engage to keep watch over the waterways continue to navigate and patrol, they are optimistic that with the renewed sustainable efforts, the end of crude oil theft and bunkering may be sooner than anticipated. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson.
Now, conversations on the quantity of crude stolen daily and how much is being lost in terms of revenue varies from one stakeholder to another, meaning we do not even know the exact quantity stolen, just as the thieves' methods are not fully understood. We hope this conversation will provide answers to the many unanswered questions. As we have joining me via Zoom, Captain Waridi Enisuoh, Maritime Intelligence, Aviation Satellite Systems Expert, Executive Director, Technical and Operations, Tantita Security Service Nigeria Limited.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, you are a marine security expert. You know the terrain. Just give us an insight. How does this illegal business happen?
There are actually, it's multi-pronged, but mainly two-pronged in the region. There is the local side of it, and there is also the international side of it. If we say that 100% of the crime from both local and international, we will apportion better part, maybe 15% to the local side and 85% to the international side. Now, 85% to the international side because what ships can carry is enormous compared to what the locals can carry in terms of trucks and little boats. So it is quite huge, and as you rightly said, the amount stolen varies quite a fair bit, but in our estimates, we're looking at nothing less than, as at today's current rate, probably $70 to $80 million a day. That is what is lost in terms of the international side.
Wow. So, just let me understand this. You mentioned the international side of it as in 85%, is it? You said that ship can carry, is it?
Ships can carry quite a fair bit,
But
because
these
of their
ships,
size.
how do they come and how do they go on, I mean, a ship is big. I mean, everybody should be able to see ships coming to that waters and carrying, oil.
Well, definitely. You see, what a lot of the ships do, especially the big ships, they take advantage of what we call innocent passage under the United Nations law of the sea. So you could see them, and you see a lot of them. They could be going somewhere else or pretending to be going somewhere else. But however, they'll be hanging around the Nigerian exclusive economic zone, waiting to be supplied by smaller ships that can penetrate the creeks of Nigeria or even go into wellheads like we discovered and keep sucking up little bits and supplying them in the middle of the ocean till they get the amount of quantity they want. This could take days, it could take weeks, because it's not done just by them. It is done in internal pollution. So they would have to get, crude oil when the lines are active. And when the lines are not active, they may end up maybe doing a little bit of stripping here and there. So that could help them be around or encourage them to be around. Now, the international side is so big because, as you know, Nigeria has got the cleanest oil in the world, the sweetest ever. Any refinery you pump a Nigerian oil to has got very, very low maintenance, so they will keep coming. So we got a lot of job to do. Now, on the local side, what you have is that quite a fair bit of the oil is also stolen, but this time they use smaller boats to take them to locations where they load them onto trucks. Some are refined into products, some raw crude, because what the local side does is that they don't want to cook this oil or refine this oil near or close to their sources of obtaining them, so near the pipeline. So they sometimes truck the illegal oil to remote areas where you will never expect, you will have the least expectation that anything illegal is going to happen. But having said that also, there are people who hide under the cover of having an approval to lift crude oil, and then they piggyback the legal crude oil with the illegal one. So it's quite a sophisticated crime, if you ask me.
Okay, now I think you've made mention of the quantity now in terms of revenue. Can you speak to us in terms of degradation, environmental degradation, and risk associated in terms of fire?
The environmental degradation is immeasurable. If you go to some areas, you'll find square nautical miles that have completely been decimated. I don't even think in my own righteous thinking that some areas you will even be able to revamp for 100 years to come. Maybe they will just literally become crude oil reserves after 100 years or something. It is so massive. You find aquatic life gone, trees gone, creatures that are pertinent to those particular habitats are completely gone. In fact, there was a particular boat trip we took, and you could see fish even floating from the pollution. They cannot handle anymore. You see some animals floating, because there is just really nothing to eat that is not poisonous in the area. And it is also so bad that a lot of people may not know it, but the amount of carcinogens in the area has massively reduced the life expectancy of even the humans living in such places.
Wow. Now, the success in curbing oil theft has to do with high-level intelligence gathering. Is that the story of Tantita Security Services?
Well, it is not only the story of, or that makes up the success today. I'd like to seize this opportunity to say to the world, and indeed the Nigerian people, that this whole crime is so internationally galvanized that we did praise the Nigerian military for doing so much. It has not been very easy for them, especially when you are coming from a bureaucratic background where things have to take certain approvals before you do. We really estimate that, look, our forces that have been fighting this before we came in, they did a very, very good job. We have to praise the Nigerian General Security Forces. They did their job. And we must also thank this president, because this is the first time in Nigeria's history that a government has taken this head on. And the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, in its reformed state, has been the galvanic factor that has brought all these successes together. We had the intelligence before now. We never had the platform to be able to share, exercise, and execute what we had. So we have never given up. We have been looking around the region and maintaining data of what's been going on. And that is why you see this whole thing looks easy for now, but it is not really easy, and it would not have been a success story if not for the fact that the Nigerian government is serious. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is very, very serious about it, and our forces are also there to back us up. So it's everything is just happening at the right time. If not for all of this, I can guarantee you this mission would have been a successful failure.
Okay, you talked about success story. Tell us about your breakthroughs.
Well, we had quite a fair bit. I forgot to mention in my success story, or our success story, that Tantita would not have also been able to make it if not for the high level of expertise they put together, both local and international, if I may say so. And then the communities have been a very, very good source of local intelligence and to some extent even international intelligence, because somehow, somewhere, as I said, the local side of this crime is married to the international side of the crime. So we got quite a fair bit of information. In fact, sometimes overload of information that comes in about ships approaching the coast to come and do harm to our economy. So we have to praise them. They did very, very well.
Okay, the crude oil thieving cartels are generally thought to be highly organized, sophisticated, and at the same time complicated. Amid all this, should we expect more successes?
Definitely, because those who think that Nigeria is not serious, I think today is their answer. I'll say that again.
Okay.
You can see the dimension and the foundation that the current administration has set. And when built upon, as we wish, we're going to see better days ahead, because the message, especially sent by our able Chief of Defense Staff, I mean, he's brought in a lot of, war front expertise into this operation. The kind of message he has sent into the international community and the local community as well, I can guarantee you, it's created a lot of deterrence. We are seeing a very, very low, for the first time, we are seeing very low activity, though still massive, of people approaching our coasts to come and pick up literally free oil. So it's become, people are being discouraged now because of that action he took. He was able to make a swift decision on what to do. We have never been this decisive. And as I said also, in terms of all of this, it's not really a one person's achievement or something, but we're looking at bigger partnerships, which we believe that NNPC Limited is going to galvanize the agencies involved, like NIMASA, the Nigerian Ports Authority, who are equally well equipped in terms of technology and also personnel. The EFCC, the Customs, the Nigerian Navy, the Nigerian Army, the Civil Defense, and all of our gallant forces to come together to use the private sector as a platform, because it is not easy for government organizations to operate single-handed. As you know, criminals got no bureaucracy. That has been the secret to their success. So you also need a private platform like Tantita Security Services that also knows no bureaucracy in terms of responding with intelligence to match them dollar for dollar.
Now, in terms of engaging youths, how much have we done?
Could you say that again, please?
In terms of engaging youths around that area, how much have we done by your assessment?
Okay, so far so good. Tantita Security Services Nigerian Limited has employed about 17,000 people, okay, including youths, adults, and so much and so forth, including intelligence officers that parade the coast, give us insight, because you can never, ever underestimate the real-time capacity of human intelligence compared to electronic. Now, I'll tell you one more thing. In terms of the local side of it, you have to understand that a lot of people have been allowed one way or the other to participate in this illegal trade, and they've been using it to send their children to school, to survive, basic needs, so much and so forth. So what did Tantita Security Services do? They put a lot of these people in tiers. What I mean tiers is that we employ the youths, okay, and employ their able-bodied parents. Now, when the parents go out there to work, you can't leave their families without money. So we also, in addition, give to the women or those homemakers an allowance, half of what their breadwinners go out there for, so that they don't have a situation whereby they feel, oh, my breadwinner is gone, I have to go do something else to whatever. No. So we give them stay-at-home allowance. And then at the same time, there are elderly people who are not supposed to be able to work. Those ones also are on allowance to give us information. If they see unusual people working in their communities, they let us know so that we can increase the surveillance in the area. Because sometimes you can find foreign-looking people coming to these communities to do things. Those days where we think the foreigners are saints and we are the evil people are gone. That is the gospel we preach around them. So you can see how far we've gone in terms of community engagement, which is one of the reasons why we are currently overwhelmed with the intelligence.
Okay, it is good news that Shell resumes crude oil export operations at Forcados Oil Terminal. Is that to say all the illegal joints have been disconnected? And what should we expect from Tantita to secure our oil wealth?
We're not just only discovering these joints, okay? We are also, because if you look at the manner in which these things are connected, they're connected with valves into illegal areas. So for now, those valves, quite a fair bit of them have been closed, so pumping can go on. But it's going to take another level of action to be able to permanently seal that, which is to clamp these lines. As you know, the country is in dire need of foreign exchange, no doubt about it. So we've closed quite a fair bit of the ones we know, if not all of them at the moment, and clamping will go on. The Forcados tank farm has been full, so it needs to be pumped so that more oil can come into the tank farm. And I think in that particular period, quite a lot of maintenance action will be taken by the NNPC.
Okay. Thank you very much, Captain Waridi Enisuoh, maritime intelligence aviation expert. Thank you for sharing your thought with us.
Thank you so much.